Hello everyone, welcome back to Russell-san's Let's Play for A Link to the Past. Last time we cleared the first dungeon, the Eastern Palace, and we are going to be continuing with our journey through Hyrule in this game. So we have a few things to pick up before we go to the next dungeon, because we're not quite ready yet. Particularly, I only have 5 hearts, which is a little low for my comfort. So we're going to be collecting a few pieces of heart and a few other items, some of which are mandatory to progress, and others which will just help us in our journey. So you'll remember from last time, I commented that my screen kept blacking out. That was just my screensaver. It should be fine. From now on. The other thing I noted was that there was a piece of heart in Kakariko Village that I failed to get. I'll just leave that guy. I remember where it is now, or I just say look it up and remember where it is now. Oh, so I'll be heading there to get that, because it will help considerably. Yeah. That's a gambling game you can play to get rupees, but we have tons at the moment, so there's not a point. We also picked up the Pegasus boots last time, which will be very helpful, because there's a book here, and this is one of the things you can do with the Pegasus boots, which is run into items, into objects, and knock things down. This is the Book of Medora. It lets us translate the ancient language of Hylians, and we need it to get into the next dungeon. So it's good to get that out of the way first. There are other things we need to do, though. As I said, there's at least a handful of heart pieces to pick up. Yeah, I only have 1, so yeah. I think we might be picking up about 6, honestly. Alright. So, as you recall, I was over here last time. This cave was where I said there was a heart piece. I was right. I did remember there being one here, but I misremembered how to get it at the time. The bombs here are the clue. If you look, there actually is a crack in the wall that I missed when I was here last time. Bomb this and you can go in and get the heart piece. Alright, through here. More rupees. There we go. It's good to know that you get vindicated on your memory, even if it's belatedly. Alright. There is another one, basically immediately south. We actually passed by it when we got the Book of Medora. It involves a race, which is not too difficult, but a little annoying to do, which is why I usually wait till after I get the Pegasus boots to get it. They let you move quite quickly, but they're a little hard to control. Yeah, this long house right here. This is what you want. And this person does not mind us blowing a hole in their wall with an explosive. Yeah, he's quarreling with his brother, so he sealed the door to his room. As you can see. Not the best, not the healthiest form of sibling rivalry, I don't think. Yeah. We have 15 seconds, and I think I already messed up. Yeah, I definitely did. It's alright, we can just try again. Yeah. A test run actually helps. 20 seconds, yeah. So I wasn't even too far off. We just have to get there under 15 seconds, which, as long as you don't get lost, it's a pretty straightforward maze. And the reward is going to be our 3rd heart piece. So, going just off how things went last time, we're probably only going to make it through the next dungeon, the Desert Palace, today. That's fine. I'll do a lot of other things in here. Go. "12 seconds. There we go. Also, be careful not to fall off, because you do have to go back through the entire thing again to get it. So, a trick there is to basically... here, I'll show you. The trick is to basically move backwards when you get to a point where you would collide with something with the Pegasus boots. It's just a little trick that lets you move quickly without actually ramming into anything. It saves time in a very important method for that. Alright. So, we're 3 now. There's a few more, and there's a 2 up here in an area that admittedly we probably wouldn't be going to yet, but that's fine. This is Lost Woods. Not this way. Oh, I went the wrong way. As you can see, those 5 piles of stone there can be shattered by running into them with the Pegasus boots. This is an important trick that we're going to need. We can't go that way, but there is a way in over here. Alright. So this is a bit of a tricky area. There's not many enemies, but there are these thieves who will basically run into you and steal your rupees. There's one. You can, for the most part, just avoid them. Hello. Yeah, there's also those birds. They're not much of a threat, though. Ah. Here's an important item. This is a magic mushroom, not the one you're all thinking of when you hear that term. This is what... I remember I mentioned you can bring an item to the witch to get a magic item out of her. This is what you need to bring to her, so we'll do that as well. Alright, here's one spot. You want to fall down here. Yeah, as you can see, there's one right on here. And that gives us an extra heart container. Yeah. An ex-member of his is living out by the desert. That might come in handy at some point. These are fake Master Swords, basically. They don't really do anything. You can pick them up and throw them like pots. That's about it. Some lumberjacks. Yeah, the birds don't do a lot of damage, but they do chase you really far. Alright, I'm just trying to remember where the other one is, because there's another one in this area you can get. I'm gonna try going through here. That mushroom does come back, by the way, if you ever need to get another one. I don't think there is any reason to, but... Ah. Alright, yeah. They're not too hard to avoid. There's lots. This area is a bit of a warren for that, so... No, the map doesn't... You see, the map is useless in the Lost Woods, unfortunately. Okay, I'm just going to pause here for a moment and double check with my guide to see where it is. Alright, I checked. Turns out it's over by the sanctuary. Which isn't too far from us. So there's a plateau we have to get up on. I think it might be that. As I said, I really love it. There it is. This is it right here. Alright. So I used up a fairy last time. I would like to get that back or get a potion at the very least. Since we're right here by the witch's house, I'll give her the mushroom, because it takes her a little while to work on that, and I'll buy a potion. Yeah. So we've given her that now. Oh no, I think I don't. I think I have to actually give it to her. Yeah. Come back to the shop later. So by the time we finished the next dungeon, so by the next episode, we'll be coming back to check what that is. I am using a fair bit of magic. I'm going to pick up the blue potion because it heals both health and magic. There we go. Alright. Alright then. So there's a few more things we can do. Oh dear. Yes, occasionally they'll be hiding in the tall grass like that. Okay, we want to head back towards our house at this point. Oh, wrong way. Alright, down this way, immediately past our house, there's a building down here. This one, which is surrounded by water, which normally does not come into the game until much later. However, it is immediately useful because that lake there can be drained, and there's a heart piece. Also, there's a treasure chest here. This just has bombs in it, but I'll pick it up anyway. Once you get them, just exit and this puzzle resets. Alright, up this way. Alright, oh, I can't remember which one of these it is. I've got it right, okay. And avoid that anti-fairy because they're very annoying. Alright, so that, for some reason, lowers the water level out here. I'm guessing it's some sort of reservoir or something. Alright. So, that brings our count up to 5 that we've gotten so far. So you remember what that thief said about an ex-member living... Pay no attention to the average middle-aged man standing next to the sign. Leave him alone. This is him. He'll come in handy later, but not for quite some time. Here's a fairy fountain here, so I'll just heal a little bit. Alright then, let's continue. Alright, so this is the desert. This is... These vultures are a little annoying, because they'll circle around you. But if you prepare a spin attack, you can take them out. They also will occasionally drop jars of magic potion, which helps you out. Alright. You should recognize this guy, he's the Elder. Yeah, he's just telling us that with the book we can get into the next dungeon. And if you bomb this wall here, this cave... gives us our next heart piece. I think these are all the ones we can get for the moment. But 6 hearts and just a quarter is 1 heart piece away from getting another one. Should be fine. So in short order, after the next dungeon, we'll have 8 hearts before the next one, which is a good amount. Alright, we have to make our way this way. We're going to head in... Oh dear. These sandmen are a little annoying. I think because they come out of nowhere. I almost already need to use that potion I bought. I do need more bottles. There are 2 more in this game, and I think we can get one relatively soon, but not yet. Alright. We need to use the Book of Medora to read this to get an entrance. There we are. Alright then. In we go. Alright, so this is the Desert Palace. The enemies in here aren't too bad. But there's some traps that are annoying. Yeah, I'm just going to deal with some of those, yeah. This is where a classic Legend of Zelda enemy is introduced. The Beamos. Which are they're basically almost like snipers in this game. They will launch laser beams at you from considerable distance if they spot you at all. It's best to just avoid them. But it isn't always an option. Alright. This first dungeon, the first area of this dungeon is a pretty wide open area. Avoid those antlion-like creatures. Some will spit fireballs at you, but most of them you can just avoid. These ones, however, are best to be dealt with ranged weapons like the bow or ice rod. Alright. These levars aren't that bad. Though. These ones, you can just stand just outside the sinkhole and hit them with your sword. Alright. I don't remember the exact layout of this dungeon, so we are going to... That's not the right way. Going to have to explore this area a little bit. It'll get easier once we get the map. That is locked. Yeah. Good. I've been using a fair bit of magic recently. Oh, I think this is a dead end. Ah. Alright, that takes care of... I want to take care of this last lever, and then I'll freeze that antlion. Yeah. So we don't get anything for doing that, unfortunately. I often forget about that room. Even I'll be perfectly honest, I'm playing this, and I often get stuck going in there. Ah, this is an important room. I'm pretty sure. More Cyclopses? I'm pretty sure they are Igors, but I just always remember them calling them Cyclopses in my youth, because I really like Cyclopses, and there we go. I should really just disable that when I'm recording. I'll probably do that. Remember to do that for next time. In case you're wondering, that was my screensaver going. Sorry, my screen going dark again because, well, inactivity basically. I'll disable that. I'll remember to disable it for next time. It doesn't really affect your enjoyment of the video too much or anything. I just have to pause for a few seconds just to bring my screen back up, because that's what I'm looking at basically the entire time. Alright. Yeah, it couldn't be one of the blue ones that did not shoot fireballs. That would be... There we are. So we have the map now. Okay. Yeah. There it is. This is the key we need. And a tight room with the Beamos is not a very pleasant area to be, but we'll listen to this, yeah. The Elder's got some words of advice. Yeah, we have to find the treasure in each dungeon because we usually need it to advance the game further. Alright, we could go check out the locked door, but I do want to go through here. Oh, yeah. As you can see, they like trapping you in closed rooms with a Beamos statue. As long as you can keep track of where its eye is, you can usually avoid getting blasted with it. Multiples is when the game really gets more difficult. But that's not in this dungeon that much. Okay. So we have to come back here. This is where the dungeon treasure is. But we lack the big key. I'm pretty sure it's through that locked door, so we'll go get that. And come back. Alright. Yeah. Should be through here. The compass. Now, this is an little nefarious trap, but this shouldn't be too hard to get through with the Pegasus boots. There we are. Now, can I make it back through again without getting hit? No, is the answer. Yeah. Unfortunately, as you can see, every time you get hit, it interrupts your charge. It's easier to get through that on the way through. On the first way through, going back is often more difficult. Probably. Just looking at the time, how things are going so far, I'm making good progress with this dungeon. I don't know if I can make it. Alright, here we go. The power gloves. This just increases the strength, our strength, so we can pick up heavier things like large stones. There'll be a few things you will have noticed that we couldn't lift so far in this game. That helps. Let's solve that problem. Alright. Yeah, we're making good time on this dungeon. I don't know if I can fit the next one in, though, is the problem. I might be able to fit getting there. I can probably just record 2 parts today, it's fine. Alright. Yeah. It was a good idea to pick up more heart containers before proceeding. Alright, one of these is... This is the tricky room. One of these blocks has to be pushed inward in order to open that door up there. Alright, yes, I thought so. This is the fairy fountain. Okay. I will drink the medicine of magic I have. And replace it with a fairy for the moment. Alright, there we go. So I have a health refill, health and magic refill, and a revive now for that fairy. Which is nice. Ha! Nice try. Alright. Ah, yes, I was right. There is another heart piece down here. Just kill this vulture for a second. There we go. 7 hearts, and we have a heart container coming up. Excellent. We're making good progress on that. That is very important in this game. It makes it much simpler. Add another Beamos. It's the other one. Yeah. So this dungeon basically is one of the ones with... Oh, this is an annoying room. There's quite a few of these throughout this game, as you'll find out. Yeah. Where tiles will start floating off of the floor, basically, and try and hit you. Fortunately, I got the key, which means I can just go through it here. In later dungeons, the doors will simply lock, and all the tiles will start flying at you, and you cannot leave until they're all done. It's really annoying. This isn't too bad, though. Yeah. The Beamos laser beam can be blocked by obstacles like that. And we take care of the last Hydra, and we go through here. Yeah. Yeah, see, this is the area that has 2 of them. Ow. It is entirely possible to be within... No, multiples, yeah. This is more than 2. It is entirely possible to be within the range of 2 of these things at all times in this room. Which is really tricky. Alright, that wasn't too bad. See? Another room like this. I have the key here. Alright, so we have the key though. Well, but we're coming into the boss room. Let's go through here. It's not worth wasting hearts. Another red Cyclops. Okay. Get the bow out. I'm just going to move my mouse around periodically, just so my screen doesn't block out while I... Alright, it's one shot. Sorry about that. Alright. Now we need the lantern. As I mentioned previously, you can light sconces and braziers and torches with the lantern, but it does consume your magic to do so. There's quite a few puzzles in this game which require you to do that, though. Alright, so this is the boss. Believe it or not, the next boss is actually weak to the ice rod. It does a fair bit of damage, or it can also kill them instantly. I'm not entirely sure which, but it's quite handy. So we're actually fighting 3 enemies here as the boss. These are land molas, which are basically sandworms that will launch out of the ground. And yeah, that one hit. Unfortunately, they're a little tricky because they fly through the air. Believe it or not, this actually gets harder the less of them there are, because they'll keep shooting more chunks of earth at you. Use a combination of the spin attack and the ice rod is what I recommend. Unfortunately, aiming at the ice rod is tricky and burns through your magic reserves. Ah. Yeah. They don't spend very long above ground is the other problem. Missed that one. There we go. Yeah, they're weak to the ice rod. So I think I remember reading somewhere it's supposed to kill them instantly, but it does not. It does do a considerable amount of damage to them, though. Alright, that's one down. As you can see, using the ice rod does speed this up a little bit. If I can just avoid getting... I missed that one. They're trickier than the Armo statue, but that's not hard. The Armo statue is basically the first dungeon boss, so it's... Ah, I took damage. There you go. That's why I picked up the fairy. It's hard to do this without a fairy. Alright, that's 2 down. So I don't think this last one's been hit at all. As you can see, it's now moving quicker. And it's shooting out 8 chunks of earth now. Ah. Missed. Okay. I am going to need to use this, but I'm going to wait just in case I need to heal. Oh, I got it. Oh, I took the empty one out too. Oops. That's fine. Now, despite this being the blue one, I believe this is actually the pendant of power. Yeah, they didn't. So normally it's green for courage, blue for wisdom, and red for power. But this is early on when they still had that in the series, so they didn't have that firmed up yet. Alright, yes, like I said, we're only about half an hour of footage so far, so I will continue recording. I don't think we're going to make it through the next dungeon, though, is the problem. Because the next one's quite long. So... Yeah. Can we lift these yet? Yes. So we'll do some extra stuff, I think, and I might get us to the next dungeon, and Secret cave, like, strange and wonderful things live in it. Okay. So there's a few more things we can pick up. And I might get us to the next dungeon, and I might try recording that. But it'll be a separate video, unfortunately. So you guys will still unfortunately have to wait a week for it to come out, for it to come into the channel. But I might do that now because I'm still making good time. I'll do a bunch more things at the moment. I'll try to get as much done as I can before the next dungeon. And unfortunately, the Desert Palace isn't very big. Admittedly, neither was the Eastern Palace, but I at least did Hyrule Castle on top of that. Ah! Okay, he's quite good at aiming. He's good at aiming that bow of his. He's practically a marksman. All right, we can pick up the magic powder now, I think. And I want to pick up another potion. All right. There we are. Dun, 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 dun. Let me know if you can hear the music cutting out occasionally. I think I can. All right, so it might be in the shop. There it is. So now we have the magic powder. This makes the game somewhat simpler because we can sprinkle it on enemies and turn them and many other things. It turns anti-fairies into fairies. That's the main thing I remember. Which is very handy. Alright, we want to go this way next because you haven't seen it yet, but Link cannot swim. So if you go into any of the large bodies of water, he drowns and magically appears on land. So we are going to want to fix that. And the main way to do that is... yeah, the Waterfall of Wishing is around the corner. You need a lot of rupees to get the item, though, that... Ah! Yeah, no, you can't charge to those. Alright. Yes. So it's up this way. Here we are. So just stick to the main path and try to avoid all the Zoras. There is another heart piece up there, which we will be getting. Yeah. You don't take damage in here for some reason. Alright. No. It's easy to get lost, though, in this. Basically, it's a maze of waterways here. Yeah. And they will absolutely let you wander down the wrong one. If you are not careful. Ah. No! Stop spitting fireballs at me and trying to push me into the water. I like you guys! You're one of my favorite characters in the series. Alright, so this is King Zora, basically. I want the flippers. Yeah. 500 rupees for a single pair is quite expensive, but we can afford it, and they make this much simpler. Also, yes, he lets us use the magic waterways, which are all the whirlpools that the Zoras can use. Basically, lets us travel around a bit quicker. Yeah, so we can swim now, which is very important, because there is a water dungeon in this game coming up. Not for some time, but it will be coming up. Alright, here's the heart piece we saw. Alright, the next thing we want is, as I mentioned, there are extra bottles in this game. And now that we can swim, we can get the third one, which is probably what I'm going to do next. Because this will make the game much more manageable. Well, if I can carry a third potion, or carry the 2 potions I have and a fairy, which that would be ideal. Ah, this is the mysterious pond. So, this pond has water is basically enchanted, and if you throw something in, you get something better. Yeah. Okay, so the first thing is the boomerang, I'm pretty sure. Yes, I did drop that. Yeah, if you're honest to her, she gives you she'll upgrade some of your items. So this is the magical boomerang. It's faster and further, and it's a bit stronger, I think. Ah, I didn't have it equipped though. I'll demonstrate it for a second here. Yeah, see, it goes much further. Alright. The next thing we want is our shield, because she can upgrade that too. Yes, I did. Yeah, so all the fireballs that lots of enemies, like the Zoras and those Antlions, spit at us, this magic shield can block now. So we're a bit better equipped now. Alright, this is one of those waterways that King Zora was talking about. Basically, we can swim through them to teleport a little bit. Alright, I don't remember what's in here. Pond of Happiness. Oh, yes. This comes in handy later. Basically. You can throw a bunch of rupees in there, and I think you eventually get a heart piece out of it. The problem is, I do not remember how much we need to throw in yet. So I don't know if we have enough. That'll come in handy later. Alright. Let's see. I remember correctly, it's this way, but I might have to jump off there. Yeah, I might need to... Yes, I think I got it wrong. Yeah, that's the bridge we want to swim under. Alright, there we go. Yeah. Most enemies that are vulnerable to ice, as you can see, die in one hit. But I guess the land molas are bosses. A lot of games, bosses are immune to like instant kills. So they're still vulnerable to it. I guess they just take double damage or something. The ice rod doesn't do a ton of damage to begin with to most enemies, but it's still very helpful for freezing them. Yep, you guys can't get at me. Alright. This individual who's camping here under this bridge, for some reason, gives us the third bottle. Alright. So I knew that was there. I knew the slippers were there. I'm going to pause again just to look over my guide to see if there's anything else I can get us at this moment. Just hang on a moment. Alright, so I checked. I think we've managed to get basically everything we can reasonably pick up at this point. Right. I thought that was it, but I just wanted to double check. We do have an extra bottle now, so I'm probably going to go... probably gonna go pick up either a potion or a fairy. I can't decide which. See, the problem is I know exactly where the potion shop is. The fairy fountains are harder to find. Oh, there's a heart piece up there. I don't know if I can get... No, I don't think I can get that. I think that's a later thing. This is not a fairy fountain, I'm fairly certain. I think this is the fortune teller. Yeah. No, it's just a shopkeeper. Alright. Yeah, so I'll pick up a potion, and then I'm basically going to head us up towards the next dungeon, which is the Tower of Hera. So we'll be climbing the mountain for that. It's not too hard to get to, but getting us there will probably get us close to the hour mark. They will pick up a second blue potion. See? Easy to go through rupees in this game. Yes, I think just looking at how much time I've been recording, I think getting there will fill this video out nicely. And next video will be the Tower of Hera. I'll probably record that simultaneously with this just to have it recorded, because otherwise I think I have to trek all the way back there. You just want to keep going back to Kakariko Village. Just effectively. And then head up this way. Alright, I think I've managed to get everything in this area, though. So... this way. Is where you want it to go. Yeah. We need the power gloves to lift these large rocks. But after that, we are golden. Another dark cave, unfortunately. Alright. So this is the way we want to go with this old man. Yeah, he wants us to take us with him because he lost his lamp. So... Because I'm running low on magic, I will switch to the magical boomerang to deal with these bats. Yeah, there's lots of holes all over the place. So he's mentioning the golden power here. This is basically an archaic name for the Triforce, and this is the mountain is full of monsters. Many people have vanished there. He's the first person who's talking about it, really, but the remainder of this game is filled with people making references to it and the Triforce, and people trying to capture it. This is probably one of the few games in which they actually just cover the fact of how difficult it is to go after the Triforce and how it usually just leads people to ruin. Alright. So she never returns. So that's one of the, his granddaughter is one of the maidens that the wizard is capturing. Alright. Oh, in case you're wondering, since we already ran to the Zoras, these are Gorons in this game. And they're very annoying. The missing maidens are still alive somewhere, yep. Yes, so there's two worlds in this game, which is the gimmick. The light world and the dark world. We're in the light world currently. He's giving us the magic mirror. I feel like it's going to absorb another world. This lets us transport between the two worlds, which is going to be the mechanic of the game going forward after the next dungeon. But we're going to get basically a foreshadowing of it in a moment. Yeah, he heals our health, but he can't restore our magic, unfortunately. I think that's the way down the mountain, if you want to go back that way. But we want to keep going. And try to avoid getting run over by boulders. Okay, yeah. Oh, that might be the way down. Never mind. Yes, you can actually sprint up this ladder with the Pegasus boots. Try not to think about too hard about the physics involved there. Alright, there's a heart piece up there, but I don't think we can... No, we might be able to get it. Alright. We need the magic mirror for this next part. These are the magic portals he was talking about that will transport us to the Dark World. But we need to go through this one. And as you can see, this is the Dark World, and now, when Link reappears, he's a bunny. In this world, you take on different appearances. Yeah, this world is like the real, but evil has twisted it. So basically, we reflect what's in our heart and our minds in here. Link is basically an relatively innocent person compared to everything else. So he takes on the appearance of a bunny rabbit. This person takes, apparently because they're changing their mind all the time, is taking on the appearance to a ball with legs. Kind of looks a little bit like Kirby, if I'm perfectly honest. And if we find a ball called the Moon Pearl, you can keep your original shape here. That is what we need to go into the Tower of Hera for. And this guy is basically just kicking him around. Because he's apparently upset. Alright, if I remember correctly, we have to stand on these points and use the magic mirror. There we go. Extra heart piece. And the magic mirror leaves basically this sparkling portal there. If you ever want to go back to the Dark World, you step back into that portal. It saves you the trouble of having to find another one. Right. I didn't mention this earlier, but there's you've probably noticed now, there's been a stone tablet here and one in the desert. We can read these with the Book of Medora, but we can't use them yet. Because, as you can see, hold up the Master Sword and you will get the Magic of Ether. These are some of the more powerful spells and magic spells in the game, but unfortunately, we can't get it yet until we get the Master Sword. Just a simple fact. Alright. My Goron is trying to knock me off. So this is the Tower of Hera. Alright. Should I just keep going? That's the question. We do it. Basically, I can either fit 2 dungeons in an episode and make this one somewhat longer, or it's somewhat shorter. It's not too long. Alright, you guys lucked out. I'm going to do this dungeon here too, damn. It's fine. I don't know if I can stab this guy through here. I can. Yes. So I'll clear the Tower of Hera. It's not too long. Unfortunately, the boss is really annoying. That's what could drag this out a long time. Everyone who has ever played Link to the Past automatically knows who the boss here is. Everyone else, well, you'll find out shortly. Yeah. I have some advice in the dungeon. You can gaze into... Yes. So the magic mirror has another function, which lets us return to the entrance of a dungeon at any time, if you ever get lost. This is a pretty straightforward dungeon. It's mostly just a tower that keeps going up and up, apart from one basement. And it's usually a good idea to get the basement first. Now, you remember how I mentioned there was a room, the sealed doors, and these tiles? This is the first one of them. There's absolutely nothing we can do here except wait for these things to stop trying to kill us. Oh. I was hoping to get a heart out of that. That's unfortunate. I'm probably going to have to drink this potion, I'll be perfectly honest. Part of me likes playing this game without fairies, because it does feel a bit like cheating. Like, kind of like having something coming back from the dead all of a sudden. On the other hand, it does make the game much harder without them. Yeah, I'm just going to drink this now, just to stop that noise, which is really annoying. And just because it's probably safer to do it now before continuing. Oh. That was a bit of a waste. Yeah, a full refill on my magic would have been nice. Alright. Yeah, the reason to come down here first is to get the big key, because now we can just go through the remaining floors. Of which there are quite a few of them. Yes, apparently we came in on the second floor. I just called the first floor the basement. So there's not much... Oh, how did I put that? Yeah, the main gimmick here in this dungeon is these raised pillars, basically. You have to keep hitting the crystal ball to switch them back and forth. And in order to advance. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to go back down there again and reset them. Yep. Like I said, this dungeon can drag out a little bit. Oh, these reset too. Yeah, because I left the floor. That's about it. Up I go. I don't think there's too many of those, fortunately. Alright, and now we can head up. Oh, these octopods are a little annoying enemies. They basically will bounce you around. Fortunately, you can knock them off. Unfortunately, it is very easy for them to knock you down those holes too. Ooh, I almost fell down there myself. Which just causes you to lose progress and resets things. Yes. There's a few of these switches here which... like I said. So the annoying thing about that is it resets the floor above us. As you saw when I went down, again back down, the tiles reset. As I come back up, oh, some of these floors do reset. I know that, but apparently that one didn't. That's fine. Yes, they are immune to the ice rod, unfortunately. Some enemies are. Alright, there's quite a few of these throughout this area. They're very annoying for that purpose. The best strategy is to stay back to a wall and just hack away at them. Or cause them to fall down these holes. They get caught on corners quite easily, unfortunately. There we go. Alright. I'm not going to bother fighting him because there's no point. Alright. Halfway through this dungeon already, yeah. This probably isn't going to add too much time. It's the boss that's going to drag this out, unfortunately. That is where the Moon's Pearl is, and we need to get that. That's what I was concerned about. Yeah. Alright. Alright, now everything definitely is reset. That's why this game is much easier when you have a fairy with you. It's more of a challenge if you don't, I suppose, but it's fine. There's a lot of unpredictable enemies in here, like the octopods and the tiny moldrums. I say tiny because, well, a bit of foreshadowing, because, as I've mentioned, there's an annoying boss at the end of this. And, well, most Zelda fans know what the boss is. It's probably one of the most infamous ones in the entire series. Which is funny because you'd think it would be like Ganon or something, but it's not. Alright. Alright. Yes, this is why falling through these holes can really set you back in this dungeon, unfortunately. Oh, wow. I'm not sure if that's going to show up on the recording or not, but it just... Ah! The screen just seemed to glitch there, or it lagged, I guess is the right word. I honestly, I'll double check every time I was going to record this, but I don't think it's... I'm not sure if it's showing up in the finished product or not. Alright. I have to remember I don't have a fairy for this because... There we go. Alright. I believe this is the compass. Yep. I think... Alright, the Elder is going to give us some words of advice. Yeah. There's an orb in here known as the Moon's Pearl. Whoever... Yeah. We can retain our shape, basically, in the Dark World as long as we have that. Which is why we need it, because going forward, we're going to be shifting to the Dark World almost... not quite permanently, but that's where the remainder of the game is, for the most part. Ah! Am I getting a heart? That'd be nice. Ah. Well, if nothing else, I'll be wasting enough magic on trying to hit these things with the ice rod that I'll feel fine about using the potion. There's a bunch of hearts in the next area, so I shouldn't be in too much trouble. The red octopods, they're color-coded like most enemies in this game, are much harder. They take a truly ridiculous amount of sword strikes to kill. Oh, I think it fell down. Oh, that's good. Alright. And this is the one I have to fall down to get the Moon's Pearl, if I remember correctly. Yeah, and you have to fall down that side specifically. So this is the Moon's Pearl. Now we're protected against basically the transforming magic of the Dark World. Alright. I need to find one of those crystal switches, because the floor above... Yeah, here it is. Yeah. The crystal switches and the colored pillars are identical throughout the entire dungeon, meaning if you hit what you do to one, it affects all the others. So it's basically like that. It's the shifting walls mechanic basically for this dungeon. That didn't come out very well. But the boss is in the next floor up. And I would like to go in with as many hearts as I can, because it's very annoying. Alright, one potion, and no items really help. We have to... This is a sword fight, basically. And say hello to Muldrum, the larger version of the enemies we've been fighting throughout this game, who is very annoying. Almost legendarily so, because of how... This is why I said, because, as you can see, he's on a platform, which I have to jump down onto, and there's no guardrail or anything, and there's a hole in the middle there even. He can knock you off very easily, which is unfortunate. I'm just going to wait for him to move. I'm not jumping down there while he's there. The spinning... There. Like I said, that's how easy it is. Also, you have diminishing resources, because these hearts, as you can see, do not reset. Also, because we fell down, he gets to reset, so he's back at full health now. This is a very tedious boss fight. So much so, when they basically gave a kind of a remake, not to Link the Past, Link Between Worlds, he was one of the boss fights that got made much simpler, because, I mean, people probably, it was quite aggravating. So, yes. The good news is, we're past the hour mark. The bad news is, this could easily take 20 minutes. Yeah. The trick here is basically to charge up a spin attack, because that gives you a bit of a buffer between you and him. Unfortunately, he can still knock you off. Yeah, hitting him anywhere but on his tail sends you flying as well. However, if you get lucky and you can push back against the edge with your spin attack started up, you actually can charge up. You can actually stab his tail. This is going to take a while. Yep. He doesn't do much damage, fortunately. Unfortunately, this is a war of attrition. He knocked me out of his little ring. Well, I don't feel too bad about that one. I didn't actually land a hit. It takes a considerable amount of damage to put this guy down. This compounded with the fact that he knocks you off all the time makes for a very annoying boss fight. Like I said. Alright. I think that's it. Yeah. Those are all the hearts from those urns. Still the potion, fortunately. Yeah. And there is literally nothing else that works on him. I don't think the ice rod doesn't, the bow doesn't. I suppose planting a bomb might work, but it's very tricky. And falling down the middle one's even more annoying, because I try to avoid that, because it actually drops you down 2 floors. Fortunately, I've cleared these floors out. Yeah, this is a legendarily annoying boss fight in this game. There's very little else in this game that is quite as difficult as this. There's a few bosses which can be a bit harder, but there's nothing this annoying. Phew! Yes, like I said, This could easily drag out. This could easily drag us over to the hour 20 mark. Yeah. His movement pattern's very unpredictable. I got him. Okay, now I need to really try not to fall off here. He also speeds up, as you can see. No! Oh, I think I almost had him. I think it's 6 hits is what it takes. Which is, considering how annoying this boss is, a considerable amount of damage to deal out. Yeah. You can use this middle hole thing as a bit of cover, but it's best not to fall down that. Yeah. He's very annoying. Despite this fact, this is still one of my favorite games of all times. Despite the fact it probably has one of the most irritating boss fights in all of video gaming. I'm planning on doing some list videos, and I'm going to do one about irritating bosses, and he's definitely making it. I'm probably not going to be able to do 2 dungeons in a row again, because going forward they start getting longer. But the first 3 are pretty short. Hello, it is me again. This must be what Groundhog Day feels like. We're just stuck in a time loop like at the end of Doctor Strange. Until I land the killing blow, basically. Or until I give up, depending how long this drags out. I mean, we're over the hour mark, but that should be too fine. I'm going to try and keep these videos close to the hour mark, but this one's going to drag out, I can tell. Alright, yep. I did it! Yes! Finally! Yes. Explode already. And the Pendant of Wisdom is ours. That was a hard-earned, well-fought fight. Yep. With this, you have collected all 3 pendants. Go now to the Lost Woods and get the Master Sword. That's our next stop. But that will definitely be next week, because that was exhausting. Alright. Well, you guys got 2 dungeons in a row in this little over an hour-long episode, so I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching, everyone. Please remember to like and subscribe, and we will see you here again next time when we will get the Master Sword and storm Hyrule Castle to save Zelda.